for Times Network, Sumit Lakhotia.
We'd also like to invite the panelists. The CMO, Dream Sports, Vikrant Mudaliar is with us. We also have founder and CEO, Dream Set Go, Mohnish Shah, and co-founder for FanCode, Yannick Colaco.
A big round of applause. Of course, we've all had a very delightful lunch. Let's see that in the applause as well. Over to you, Sumit.
Thank you so much, Meghna and Swati. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. Now, the panel or the session after lunch is always the most tricky because everybody's had a lovely lunch and we're all enjoying ourselves now. But the best part about our panel, I think, is because it's about sports. But today we're going to be talking, ladies and gentlemen, about sports. We're going to be busting some myths about sports because the first thing that when in India, unfortunately, when you say sports, it's usually cricket. So here to get everybody's attention, let's start with a little cricket. Yesterday, IPL, highest score made by Sunrisers Hyderabad, highest cumulative score made by both SRH and Mumbai Indians. But Vikrant, talking to you first, sports is no longer just cricket in India. And I know that at Dream Sports, you're doing a lot of stuff to build the ecosystem. So two things. One is when you talk sports ecosystem for the athletes. That's being done really well. The government is doing. There are a lot of organizations in it. Our panel is looking at the fan. Let's put the fan in the spotlight. So, Vikrant, to kick off, if you can tell me a little bit more about what's happening under the Dream Sports umbrella for the sports fan ecosystem.
Sure. Thanks so much, Sumit. Great to be here. Congratulations on hosting a great summit. The very fact that we are discussing sports at a summit of this sort means that it's becoming more mainstream in terms of just not the area of interest, but also a topic of discussion. To your point about sports fan engagement in particular, I think a lot has changed over the last few years. While the IPL is topical and it's currently on, you referred to the match yesterday, which broke some records. But I think what we've seen in the sports landscape over the last few years is is the emergence of the digital sports fan. You know, the digital sports fan is consuming more content, is consuming it online, has various platforms, formats, whether it's live scores, content, streaming, highlights, and is able to do that on the go. This digital sports consumption has also been enabled by a lot of changes in the ecosystem thanks to mobile connectivity and better internet speeds, things of that sort. So I think that's one thing which has changed. From the other bit we have noticed is a lot of these sports fans have turned from passive sports fans into active sports fans. Yeah. They no longer want to just passively consume sports, but have a point of view in terms of either fan following, either at a team level, club level, league level, or even at the national level. And that provides a lot of brands and different avenues in terms of how they can engage with these sports fans. The third big trend that we've noticed is the emergence of what we call the Bharat sports fans, tier 3, tier 4 sports fans, which are increasingly now seeing greater consumption. Their likes, dislikes, and the way they consume sports fans, sports content is a little different from what tier 1, tier 2 fans have done in the past. And the last healthy and optimistic sort of trend that we're seeing is there are more women sports fans. We've seen year on year consumption by women grow from, let's say, single digits to healthy double digits, which is happening. Case in point is the recently concluded Women's Premier League, actually, with Dream 11 is a sponsor, and we've seen that data come in where it's almost doubled in terms of interest and engagement. So I think these 3 or 4 areas are the ones that, from a Dream Sports perspective, we've been witness to in terms of change. Some of them we have played an active role, and some of them actually we are enabling.
So there's so much that sports fans can now look out for. Mohnish, I'll bring you in now. Dream Set Go, as just for everyone's knowledge, is actually a premium sports travel and experience platform, and it helps users get access to worldwide sports events. The biggest worldwide sports event is coming up this year, the Olympics in Paris. Because what I'm seeing now is there was a time when, as a sports fan, any sports, I would have been able to watch it on TV. As the internet came around, I would have been able to read about it. But now, with like with Dream Set Go, you're helping that fan travel from here to Paris, for example, with the Olympics. So tell us a little bit more about the partnership with the IOA, the International Olympic Association, specifically for Olympics.
Yeah, so thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. For the Paris Olympics, we're exclusive in India to ensure that fans across the country can get access to top hospitality for the Olympics and then get a sports experience overall. We want to make sports better. We want to ensure that each fan gets an experience which goes beyond watching the sport. And we're doing multiple things around that. So we want to ensure that, when our athletes are performing live and contending for the medal, hopefully a lot of golds. We can get as many Indian fans to Paris. It's a great destination. It's the first time a lot of different things are happening from an Olympic standpoint. The opening ceremony is going to be for the first time outside the stadium on the River Seine. And we want to ensure that across all the disciplines, we can get as many Indian fans out there to support them live and then have great meet and greet experiences after that. So one of the events that we're doing post Neeraj Chopra's finals, hopefully, and hopefully he wins as well. We're all supporting him. We want to ensure that our clients can get a meet and greet with Neeraj in Paris, hopefully at the India House. And that gives an amazing, incredible experience to be able to interact with him first and understand firsthand in terms of what his overall thought process was, mindset was, and experience was.
So, with Dream Set Go, we are helping the sports fan experience sports. With everything at Dream Sports, you're building the ecosystem for the sports fan. Yannick, now coming to you. So, with FanCode, I know it's a premier destination for sports and a lot of things around sports for consumption of sports. So, case in point, Formula One, I'm a big fan. This year, the minute I got to know that Formula One is available on FanCode, immediately signed up because last year I wasn't able to see it. So, how are you seeing these niche sports or different sports evolve, grow? How are you seeing consumers adopt that? And maybe to, Vikrant's point earlier was, not just in the urban centers, all across India. If you could talk to us, how are you seeing consumers, these sports fans, how are they evolving?
Sure. So I think, the premise of what we started FanCode was essentially the changing environment in India, as Vikrant spoke about, this increasing culture of young children actually taking up sport, where sports is actually permeated into culture right now. The interesting thing was in the last 10, 15 years, where there's more and more investment and more access to, let's call it tier 1 sports events, like the IPLs on 25 different channels, the World Cups on different events. Everything else wasn't getting enough of attention. So we set up FanCode really to solve that problem of access. And what we did was said that we're going to unlock the potential of digital, which doesn't have to rely on, traditional business models of linear television, to be able to cater to these fans across the length and breadth of this country. So when you talk about, whether you talk about Formula One, whether you talk about under-19 cricket, when you talk about Women's Football World Cup, we have the ability to aggregate all these fans across. And the premise has always been that instead of trying to go after and feature an event which gives us 100 million users, we'd rather do 100 events which have 1 million users each and kind of aggregate that together. And that's how we've kind of built already an audience base of 100 million fans on FanCode. And we do across, I think, we do about 12 to 13 sports every year. Last year we did about 1,500 live matches. We're going to continue investing to try and create access of all these sports to fans across the country, like yourself in Formula One. I mean, even things like Formula 2, for example, right, which is also part of motorsport, and we have an Indian Kush Maini participating in it. There's so much potential, but it requires a lot of investment. It all sport start with the ability to access it. Heroes, kids play because they have access, they have the ability to follow, and that's something that we're trying to do through FanCode.
Fantastic. And Vikrant, I want you to take this one step ahead, because with hearing Yannick out is also we're talking about, you could say, customization. So in today's world where everything is customized, a fan can have a customized experience, and a fan can also be a customized fan by kind of saying that if Yannick is following Kush, I might be following another driver in Formula 2, but now I know more about that. Sure. How is Dream Sports, how much of your marketing initiatives revolve around the collaboration with organizations so that sports fans can get closer to those athletes, to get to know more about them, to get to know more and meet them maybe, or find out about them?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So there are two parts to, the question that you sort of spoke about. One is this whole personalization bit, which is based on a lot of data and user insights that we have. Dream 11, for example, which is the flagship brand that we have within the Dream Sports portfolio, has over 220 million users. All of them don't behave the same way. All of them could have different likes or dislikes, could show an affinity for a particular sport. In addition to cricket, for example, Dream 11 offers, another 11 sports as well, So this whole bit of personalization, we've also, by the way, based on data insights, done our bit around offering content in vernacular. So the Dream 11 app, for example, is also available in Hindi and Marathi and Kannada. Now, making sure that the best available product, in this case a contest, is available for a particular cohort, as we like to call, and is personalized, is based on extensive amount of data mining and insights that we do. The second part of your question, which is more around bringing the fan closer to the experience in terms of consuming that content, and how this interoperability within the Dream Sports portfolio, for example, there's Dream 11, Yannick spoke about the fan code experience, and then Mohnish spoke about Dream Set Go. Now, interestingly, even within Dream 11, we have integrated the fan code feed where when somebody is watching or consuming a particular content, in this case, let's say a particular contest that is entered on, you could have the streaming feed integrated within the Dream 11 app. You could possibly win a chance to get some personalized travel and hospitality experiences from Dream Set Go. So I think there are those levels of finding unique cohorts which show certain affinity for a particular behavior, and then try and see how we can marry those and serve a best customized and personalized service to those users, is what we try and do. So there's some examples that I gave that we've already launched, and I think there are more that we probably want to work on in the future.
Fantastic. And I'll come back to you on this because I do want to know what else is in the pipeline for the way ahead. But Mohnish, your company, so Dream Set Go, could be in this kind of a sweet spot, because on one hand, the sports industry and fans are burgeoning. The travel industry, tourism is burgeoning. You're pretty much in the middle of both sports and tourism. So how are you seeing consumer trends? How have they evolved over the years? What insights can you bring to us?
So for us, we are seeing that there's a great outbound tourism that's increasing from an India perspective. In fact, it's we're now in our history as India, even surpassing China, South Korea, Japan in terms of the number of Indians that are traveling and the scale of the outbound market. Within that, we're seeing sports experiences and tourism being the highest in terms of the annual CAGR growth. So we're seeing more and more percentage of the tourism segment being captured by sports tourism. And this is directly factored by the sales that we're doing and the demand that we're getting. We had more than 4,000 people that traveled for India for the T20 World Cup that happened in Australia. We worked with some of the partners and got a lot of Indians to Qatar for the FIFA World Cup. We saw massive demand in India, of course, for the Cricket World Cup. And we see a lot of demand for Indians wanting to go for French Open, Wimbledon, Formula One. Yeah. So as our disposable income is also rising, people are wanting to capture more and more experiences in life, and we're seeing sports leading that way. So the demand for sports experiences and outbound travel is significantly increasing, and there's a hunger for for going beyond the game and getting an experience.
So you think we're going to be seeing a lot of more entrepreneurs, startups coming up in this space?
I think so for sure,
Yeah.
because experiences is something which is definitely, there is a great return on investment, and there's a great appetite from the end consumer. And sports being at the helm of it, we hope that we capture most of it.
Fantastic. Yannick, a little bit more about Fan Code. What are some kind of innovations that have been put in place based on maybe some feedback that you've got from consumers, or some changes that you see that are coming about that you've put into place at Fan Code? Can you share that with us?
Yeah, I think, one of the things that we've been as an organization, we're very focused is essentially our users, right, which is the consumer, as a direct-to-consumer company. So we get a lot of live feedback in terms of what works, what doesn't. And we've been able to essentially deliver a lot of elevation and experiences for users, unlocking digital. So, for example, one of the things that we always heard back from consumers was, why do I as a consumer have to come on a platform and play for the entire year if I want to watch one game? So we kind of innovated around there, and we started doing sachet pricing, where consumers could come and buy a single game, or like they could come and buy just Formula One and not the rest of the content on the platform. That really helped us, I think, grow the pie of users who are willing to pay for sport content on digital. Another couple of things, right, when we are doing a lot of our streaming and just general feedback on social media, was people complained about too many ads, especially in cricket games. So we actually launched a premium feed where users could pay a premium and have an ad-free feed where they could actually continue watching wide shots, players interacting, and a lot of fans appreciated that and took up to that. I think the amazing ability of digital is that you are able to get feedback live, and you're also able to experiment. You're able to test stuff out, push stuff out, and as an organization, we're very focused on experimenting with things, but also being very clear. If things work, scale up. If things don't, move on from it. And I think that's something that we've tried to do a lot more in Fan Code also.
But this is great because FMCG's companies have been famous for, as what they call, I think it's called sachet
pricing, yeah.
I don't know, I'm not pronouncing it right, but giving stuff in sachets. So with shampoos, oil, everything. So this is great to provide this experience in a sachet. This question, I'll come one by one to all three. The future. So starting with you, Vikrant, what does the future for the fan look like, for the sports fan? What does the future look like here in India?
So I think they'll be spoiled for choice in terms of the kind of content they can consume and the ease and the convenience in which they can consume. So I think that's probably a trend that's going to continue. Organizations like Dream Sports will do their bits to try and see how we can promote and support the sports ecosystem, in the country. Dream Sports' vision is, make sport better. So what's good for sports is good for Dream Sports, in that sense. So I think a lot of work will, at least from our side, will happen on trying to even promote sport at the grassroots levels. These could be sports that we may not even, let's say, for example, feature on Dream 11 as a product. But generally, I think, for example, the Dream Sports Foundation does a lot of work in promoting sporting talent. A lot of them are Olympic hopefuls. Hopefully they'll do extremely well in the coming Olympics as well. So I think this larger goal and objective that we have of promoting the sports ecosystem will continue to happen. The second bit, I think, really will be around the synergy that we have as a platform and as a group entity with multiple individual companies to see how we can, at different touch points, try and address different customer needs when it comes to sports consumption. That probably will be the second sort of big thing that we'll focus on in times to come.
Fantastic. Mohnish, same question for you. Where do you see the future for Dream Set Go and the industry?
So I'll actually take a step back and tell you my own story. So I used to travel a lot to England in my Deutsche Bank days, and I love watching Chelsea Football Club and watch them play. And every time I'd travel, I'd struggle to get tickets. Last minute I'd try to find, I didn't know where, I didn't have access to it. And that's where I think the first thought came in, saying we need to solve for this problem. Today where we stand, I think across sports, there's a trusted platform, being a part of the whole Dream Sports universe, to be able to deliver not only access to the clients, but also ensure that you go beyond that and give them Like for Manchester United, we've got an official partnership. They can watch the first team train. They can have a legend that can give them a tour, personalized tour of Old Trafford. And it's about piecing in these kind of experiences, which right now gives access to very various money can't buy kind of experiences. Yeah. As we move forward, I think there's tremendous potential in terms of what we can create even within India in terms of the hospitality experiences for our fans. More and more sports are going to happen here. We're hoping that in the next decade, India is going to be at the center of some of the major sporting tournaments. And, we wish to create the best hospitality experiences for fans.
Fantastic. Yannick, last question to you. Same future. What do you see the future as?
So I think from a fan perspective and from fan code perspective on the content side, right, I think the hyper customization of content and your viewing experience, it's really frustrating. Like yesterday as a fan, I was watching the Mumbai Indians, as you said, the SRH game, and at the break, there was this great highlight package of SRH batsmen just whacking the Mumbai Indian bowlers all over the place. And as a fan, I was like, this is a terrible highlights package, right? I'm a Mumbai Indians fan. I want hope, right? I want to be able to see a customized highlight package which actually gives me hope that Mumbai Indians can make it. There may be a fan of Klaasen who wants to see how he batted and how he performed over everyone else. So I think today with ML and AI, the ability to use technology to be able to create content which is customized to individual fans and to be able to use data analytics to be able to feed that content to the right without having them to scroll and search. I think that really is the future of fan content, and that's where we hope as Fan Code to be able to take experiences to fans.
Fantastic. So very exciting times lined up for if you're a sports fan. If you're not a sports fan, I'm sure